Today, ladies and gentlemen, business owners, this video is about Richard Blumenthal, chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations for the DHS. As I've showed you this picture many times, I was there. I was there in April of 2017, and I got up when others could not. I had friends of mine saying, "Daryl, he's going to kick you out." I said what I had to. I said, I waited professionally for the last person to speak, and that was from the guy from MIT. And I said, "Senator Blumenthal, committee chairman, I've got something to say." I stood up, held up two pieces of paper, which we've got a lot more documentation than that, ladies and gentlemen. And I said that Sam Salephour is right. My name is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, and I've got something to say. That Boeing gave up supplier auditing to a piece of paper for 22 years. And Richard said to me, "Sir, sit down or I'll throw you out." And I said, "Richard," just like this, "you can't throw me out, Richard. You remember my mother, Sylvia Guberman. I'm her son, Daryl, from Connecticut." Because Richard was over my house when I was a kid. Him and Chris Dodd and all the rest of that. So I say this to you, Richard, very humbly. This video today is that with the choice of Robert Kelly Ortberg from Collins Systems, the manufacturer of the, it appears, the M.KHAN system, that they did the same old, Richard. You will be back in your subcommittee meeting within 2 years for another catastrophe that will happen under Mr. Ortberg's leadership. I want to tell you, and let me just give you some information, if I may. Richard, I sent a 42-page document, 11 letters of recommendation to the board. Let me get you out here. Thank you. I sent it to the board of Boeing, 11 of them, David Calhoun included, giving them 11 pages of letters of recommendation. And all the letters said were accolades, that if Boeing doesn't pick me, it's not going to be good because we roll up our sleeves. Heard Jim Cramer from Mad Money, he made a comment that the bottom line is going to be good. This is a guy who rolls up his sleeves. Well, why didn't he roll up his sleeves with the M.KHAN system that was made by Collins, it appears? In fact, before we go further, let me just show you this guy. He received my document as well. Mr. Stephen Mullencuff, chair of the board, Boeing director since 2020. He's the special advisor, Qualcomm Incorporated in 2021 to 2022. That's when he was. He was a CEO and chairman, Richard. Let me get you out here. He was a chairman of Qualcomm Incorporated 2014 to 21. Now, mind you, Richard, that your organization, the DHS and the DOJ, all sit on ANSI-ANAB, which is Boeing's accreditation body that they mandate on their supplier bulletin from 2002. Their supplier portal calls out registration for a third party should be and must be ANSI-ANAB accredited. And also, Boeing sits on the board to grant, suspend, and withdraw certification from ANSI-ANAB. In 2009, Richard, Boeing was made an FAA regulator, which means they did not have to tell anybody anything in the aerospace community, whether it's the pilot or the airlines or their CEOs. Because in 2009, the FAA made Boeing a self-certifying agency of the FAA. When I stood up, and when you were there on April 17th, and you wanted to throw me out after I said what I had to, Richard, I will say this as humbly as I can. This guy, Qualcomm, sits on ANSI's board. Okay. They sat on there between 2015 and 21 when he was the CEO. The IAF, the International Accreditation Form at that time, that ANSI was on there as well. ANSI is the founding company for the IF, the International Accreditation Form, which is a which is an association of accreditation bodies, both national and international. ANSI and ANAP are underwriters for the IAF and their associates. Also, the ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, which is out of Australia, and that is IAF's sister organization, and ANSI and ANAP are underwriters, which Richard, as a litigating, you were the Attorney General, law, you're a lawyer. Well, as them being a underwriter, they take all legal responsibility for product failure and also systematic failure. ANSI ANAP does. You have this guy over here, Stephen Mullencup, who I guess picked Mr. Robert Kelly Ortberg, picked him, chosen for for Boeing's leader. He was on Collins Aerospace. And this is what it says. Now, behind the scenes, okay, this is far from the, let me just slide it over. Far from the spotlight, Boeing's partner feels the heat. That was where this little snippet comes from, Richard. Now, behind the scenes, scrutiny of the accidents, the Ethiopian Air and also Indonesian Air, has extended beyond the troubled aircraft manufacturer Boeing to the partner in the MAX development, Collins Aerospace, where this guy resided for many, many years. No wonder why he retired in 2021, because the heat was getting hot in the kitchen. Okay, that's why he retired. The company, deeply rooted in eastern Iowa, provided the software blamed in both crashes and built the plane's flight deck displays. So, Richard, let me tell you this. You would be back in 2 years when they have another fatality, because I already put in my CV. I put in information. I was thinking about his position, but I believe that where I would function the best is within the realm of quality control. Now, I told your assistant, Mr. Lorenzo Dalbert, that you handed me off to, and also Beatrix, that is where I should be and want to be, and he did not know, your assistant did not know me putting in a 42-page document to the board of directors. If they don't get me in some capacity, Richard, you will be sitting with the subcommittee in another meeting when the fatalities fall on his shoulders. After all, he's part of the MCAS issue. The MCAS issue that the committees really didn't dig into good enough. Well, why not? Most of the committees, like your committee, like the DOJ, DHS, where you sit, are ANSI ANAP members, which Boeing uses as their accreditation body. So you are basically paying a fee for membership. Your organization, DHS and DOJ, pays a membership fee to maintain their membership on ANSI ANAP, Boeing's accreditation body. Do you find something wrong with that? Being an attorney? I do. My telephone number is 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS@yahoo.com. I just got back from a meeting, and remember this, Richard. The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. And we've only just begun, I'm telling you. I've given you a lot of information. I haven't given you all, but I've given you a lot. And the passengers from Ethiopian Air and also Ethiopian and Indonesian Air, get your attorneys to go after ANSI ANAP, for they are underwriters. If the DOJ shut you down because they sit on ANSI ANAP, the accreditation of Boeing, if the DHS, which they do, sit on ANSI ANAP's board, go after ANSI ANAP. They're almost a $90 million nonprofit corporation that has federal agencies and corporations on board. 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS@yahoo.com. And if you want to look me up, ladies and gentlemen, go Daryl Guberman, Guberman, and go Boeing, and you will find me. Go Daryl, Guberman, Boeing, and I will pop up. I thank you humbly.